now.
This meeting is being recorded.
Yes. Got it.
Super loud. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, and Louise is going to tell us. Oh, wait, just a sec. Let's see. All right, let's see. Where did it go? I'm sorry, my computer is on strike, apparently. You can start talking, Louise, and I will catch up with you.
Okay. The Sundar Shadi Award has been going on since 1996. Every March, members of the community go through the hills and flatlands of El Cerrito looking for beautiful front yard gardens. This award was named after Sundar Shadi. So who is Sundar Shadi? In June 1900, Sundar Lamba was born in Chak Shadi, a small village in the Punjab, India. He lived on a farm with his parents, 4 brothers and 1 sister. During a violent Muslim uprising, the family fled to Pakistan. 1 brother was killed and another died in World War I. As a boy, Sundar was sent to Muslim Sikh schools. Because of the importance of agriculture to the region where he lived, he was encouraged to study pomology, the science of agriculture. The brilliant Sundar came to UC Berkeley in 1921 and received a bachelor's degree in pomology in 1926. And in 1929, he received a master's degree in subtropical horticulture. He returned briefly to the Punjab and then came back to the United States, where his name was permanently changed to Sundar Shadi. He returned to UC for further study and there met Dorothy Clark. They married in 1934 and built and lived in their home on the Arlington in Berkeley for their entire marriage. Due to his race and being foreign born, Sundar was unable to secure a job in the university system where his wife taught. Instead, he opened his own gas station where he met members of the community on a regular basis. At the same time, he continued to study horticulture and present many articles for publication. With his interest in gardening, Sundar decided he wanted to do something for his community. He began planting the hillside next to his home with floral designed carpets. And you can see that in the picture where Sundar and his wife are standing in front of one of those floral designs. Each year, the display of the Persian carpet would change. Sometimes he honored groups such as the Boy Scouts. Then he noticed his neighbors decorating for Christmas. Mr. Shadi wanted to contribute, although he was a Hindu and not a Christian. He began constructing what would become a landmark of the holiday season, the town of Bethlehem, that now is at the top of Mosier. He built and decorated over 100 buildings, with his wife sewing clothes for the many characters that populated the scene, including the nativity scene, the wise men, the shepherds, and people of the town. Some years ago, El Cerrito took over that project and is sheltering and reassembling the town of Bethlehem each Christmas. Sundar was also a supporter of many community activities and a regular volunteer at public schools. Additionally, he joined the El Cerrito Garden Club. Over the years, he received many awards for his contributions. He died in 2002 at age 101.
Wow.
Dorothy and Sundar had 3 daughters, one of which was Vera Carol Shadi. I'm sorry. Who in 2000 was the chairman of the Sundar Shadi Award. This Sundar Shadi Award for Outstanding Front Yard Gardens started with a donation from Sundar Shadi of $500. and that was to be used to beautify the community. Over the years, many people have been chairman of this committee, including Mary Lynn Cox, Julie Rogers, Vera Leese, Marion Kent, Tanya Edgar, Fleda Mackey, and Landry Wildman. At this time, the award is for 3 outstanding gardens in El Cerrito. Each recipient receives a check for $100, a year's membership to the garden club, and the placement of a decorative sign in their garden for 6 months. Beginning in March, members of the garden club and anyone in the community are asked to go through the city of El Cerrito. Since this was Sundar's project for El Cerrito, we are limited to the city limits of El Cerrito. The nominees may not be members of the garden club. So as you're going around doing your errands, visiting people, keep an eye out for beautiful gardens that we might be nominating in March. This year, the judging was of 15 gardens. And I want to acknowledge at this time our judges. Thanks to Elisa Etzel, Fong Lee, Martha Jackson, Eileen Libby, Clark and Lamerrill Milsom, Bernadette Rogers, and Kate Steinel. For each of these people went to each of the 15 gardens. And this year, the 3 outstanding gardens rose to the top. The aspects of the garden that they're looking at are curb appeal, overall design. Does the garden have a theme? Does the design go well with the house? Does the garden make use of shape, slope, and size of the space? Are there unique or unusual features? Are there native plants? Is it drought tolerant? And what about the mix of color and palette? Also, they consider if there are special features such as sculptures, fountains, bells, benches, etc. So this year, the first garden that we're going to be viewing is at 300 Seaview Drive. And when we made the presentation, we had a lot of wonderful members who came to the curbside and enjoyed meeting Alana Sanders and Daniel Talancon.
I'm actually on the phone today, Louise. This is Alana.
Wonderful. Thank you, Alana.
Sure thing.
I am going to give a couple of things that the judges said about this garden, and then I'm going to turn it over to Alana. A dense garden with tropical look designed by the homeowners. An overall lush, drought-tolerant garden with a nice border of rocks accented with succulents. The entire designs wrap the house in a tropical wonderland, transforming an ordinary little house into a garden worthy of an award. The mounded front yard is accented with a mature-looking olive tree. A big passion flower vine frames the house. Rocks and grasses blend well together with an amazing variety of succulents crowded into a small space with a lot of eye candy. A beautiful terrace garden with a low water feature. A small front yard packed with a great variety of texture and color. So now we'll go to Alana. Thank you, Alana, for being here.
Sure thing. So this was certainly a fun project for my husband and I to undertake. We actually started probably uprooting the grass in February of 2021. This was our second garden COVID makeover. And then we, had a crew take all the grass out. It was pretty flat and uneventful when you approached our home at first. So we really wanted to create a pop, a little bit of visual interest with texture, color, height, and really to give life to the front yard since it was pretty plain before. So we imported maybe around 16 cubic yards of soil to raise the land a bit. As you guys know, there's a ton of heavy clay, so it was hard to get anything to really penetrate in the ground. So as we raised the land, this helped achieve some of the slopes we were trying to work with, since the front yard is sloping toward the water. and certainly, create a little bit of vertical interest. So we were striving to create a drought tolerant garden since we're still in a drought. I don't think that's going anywhere. And use a lot of succulents that are a bit lower maintenance than some of the other plants we see in the area. So this was certainly a fun project, and we're still, ongoing maintenance is inevitable. So yeah, that's kind of where we are now.
Alana, this is Martha, and I'm showing the slides, and I have about 20. Can I
Oh,
just
cool.
should I just show them one at a time, and you can say something, or you can say next, whatever you like.
Okay.
Okay, let's see.
This was interesting. We have a lot of deer in the area, lots of crows, lots of raccoon, any type of creature that digs. So this was our attempt to try to protect the planting, especially as it was establishing. And now it's probably three feet taller than what you're seeing here. So this was really early on, but happy to say that it's still intact.
Yes.
Let me add that is the border next to the street, which is as beautiful as the rest of the garden.
Let's see, this is the front coming in. Let's see, this is looking at the olive tree. This is a fruitless olive tree. It's called the Swan Hill variety. We were specifically looking for a non-fruiting to avoid maintenance issues and dropping fruit.
And Alana, did you bring that tree in, or was it there?
We did. We brought it in. I think the tree was the first thing that we planted in early March. We had 4 guys hoist it off of a truck and drag it into our front yard. It was probably over 1,000 pounds. And it was I think it was a 36-inch box tree. So pretty big, but it's definitely grown a lot since we planted it. Coming up the walkway. This is the existing brick walkway, which we were trying to work with, and having the white bands surrounding the walkway helped with movement. It gave a little bit of color and texture variety as you're coming in. Let's see, this is looking from the driveway. We decided to expand, we'll call it a walking path, just to have more room exiting out the car. There's actually drip irrigation integrated all throughout the garden as well, which we, occasionally use maybe in the summer months when it's extremely hot. And certainly we had to use it when the garden was first establishing back in March.
And I see your solar light there too, right? Is that a?
Oh, yes. Motion activated solar lights. They kind of pop on as people walk by. So it helps illuminate the garden at night. Japanese Aurelia. Really the goal here was to block the front porch. Porch pirates love to steal packages. I think we know that's a problem in the area. So this was really an attempt to create some privacy and also create just a lush entrance. Black planters, these were probably one of our favorite improvements, really just to block the gutter that you see coming down and some of the mechanical equipment we had on the side, and certainly just to cover that gap between the house and the grade. Some more succulent planting. Fun fact, these bulbines started off as a 4-inch pot, and they are thriving. So if you want something that is hard to go away, that's definitely your go-to. Some more planting on the back side. Next. Let's see, you've got some aloe plants here. We have a blue flame. This was probably one of the plants that we when we purchased it from the nursery, it was one of the larger feature plants. But then certainly everything else grew around it, and now it's all keeping up with it. Next is looking back from the house at the olive tree. The olive tree certainly provides a little bit of privacy between the street and our front window. The rock wall that you see here, this was really an effort to, like I said, raise the land again to create more space for the root ball of the olive tree, but also to have greater soil depth for all of the new plants that we had on the top level. And the rocks are also locally sourced from American Rock and Soil down by the highway. This is looking down sea view. This secondary path you see here was purely about function. We wanted a way to get from the sidewalk to the back of the house without having to step on our neighbor's yard. Let's see, this is another secondary path, one that we use more frequently than the brick walk to get from the car to the front. So I think function really influenced this design. Before we moved in, it was purely grass, and we created a footpath from the car to the front door since there was nowhere to properly walk. So that was probably one of the largest improvements in functionality for us.
When we were out judging, we met Alana and her husband and her little one, and it was a delight to find out how this garden developed.
It was fun. More blooms. Unfortunately, now all the kangaroo blooms have been cut off since we had to do some deadheading, but hopefully they'll come back in full force early next year, I'm hoping.
They're very dramatic.
If we had it our way, we'd have planted more of the yellow kangaroo paw. It gives a nice pop of color. So maybe we'll have some revisions next year.
I see more of the bulbine on the other side of Daniel there. Isn't that
Oh yeah.
the yellow flower?
I think since this picture, the ones on the left side that you just referenced, I think I removed them to give more room for the blue flame. They're kind of aggressive and they started to take over. So that's just all tidying up. Another shot looking towards the street, various heights, colors, textures. We have another rock wall on the lower side near the driveway, so we could raise the grade around the walkway just to create more soil depth. Some garden members. This was on the day in June. Perfect day, perfect weather. More fun fact, the acacia cognata that you see on the left is probably one of my favorite plants. They call it the cousin it plant. And they've been really popular around the bay. And I think a little bit hard to find because of the popularity, but certainly creates a nice flowy texture. Yay.
I think that might be the end.
Okay.
I don't know if people might have questions for you, Alana, or if you have to go, but this is just wonderful to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer some questions.
Was there some particular nursery that you used to source your succulents? Did you find one better than another, or?
So I actually have access to a wholesale nursery called Devil Mountain. Since I'm a design professional, they give access to design professionals or like landscape contractors. So the one that I like to go to is in San Ramon. That's their largest location. And then they have another one in Petaluma that's also really great. But that's where we source most of the plants. I'd say 75% are from there. And then the San Rafael Home Depot also has a fantastic plant selection. They have a really extensive outdoor garden. It even spills into the parking lot, but that's probably one of my second favorite places to go for plants.
Good to know.
Alana, you said it's called San Rafael, or it's another Devil's Mountain location.
The one in San Rafael is Home Depot.
Oh,
It's right off,
Home
I think it's right,
Depot.
yeah, it's right off the highway if you're going across the bridge. So that's
Oh,
definitely the best
Yes.
one that I've found. And I've been to many Home Depots in the Bay. The one in Palo Alto is also pretty good.
yeah, they do vary.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely by season.
Alana, I'm wondering if you did this design yourself. I guess given your vocation, you probably did.
Yep.
Do you have a suggestion for people like myself with really, I have sort of an eye, but not really any experience. Where can people go to get support with design?
Be someone.
Well, yes, we did this myself. I'm actually a landscape architect, so this was, a fun project for myself and my husband to undertake. But in terms of like inspiration, I think Pinterest is really great for garden inspiration. I think you can type in keywords that you're looking for, like drought tolerant, California native, English garden, and I think you can find, nice compositions of like precedent imagery, and so forth.
Thank you.
Sure.
Looks like Eileen might have a question.
I just wanted to see the original, where that first picture where you started from.
Oh,
See the,
I don't know if I can go back.
okay, no
Okay.
problem. I just was,
I'll-
thanks.
I'll show you. I'll show you later.
It was all grass. There was
Yeah.
nothing there.
The contrast it's amazing. It's just
Thank you.
amazing.
I realized I should have put the before picture at the end too. That would have been good.
Right, yeah. Bookcase, book.
I think, Martha, if you just press one more time, it goes back to the beginning, but I don't want to bother you. Oh, I see you have other slideshows. Never mind.
Yeah, I've got
Okay.
everybody in the same slideshow.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
I mean, I can go back 25 slides possibly, but I'm afraid I might.
No, it's okay.
In
Okay.
spite of our constant use of Zoom, I still find it a complete mystery.
You can see the house before by mapping the house, because I got the addresses of all the winners and mapped it. And I saw this horrible looking house. I thought, how could this house be winning? So it was very clearly terrible looking on the
That is a very-
map.
That's a good point, that on Google Maps, even if they now have a new picture of your house on Google Maps, there's a historical record. You can go back like 6 months or 2 years and see the front of the house then.
Oh.
Very cool.
Mhm.
Alana, the plant on the left side with the, is that a flax? The one with the broad leaves?
That's a yucca.
Yeah, oh, it
Um,
is a yucca. Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And
So-
it bloomed a few months ago, and it had a really pretty big stalk with like white and pink flowers.
Yeah, the blooms on yucca are wonderful.
Yeah.
But isn't this gonna get really big, Alana?
It is going to get pretty big. We'll have to address that in a few years. Like the ones in the front are also going to get very big.
Uh-huh.
Those are Yucca rostrata sapphire sky. And they're slow growing, but faster growing than I anticipated. So we might have to do some moving around to create a bit more space.
Yeah, as a professional, you're probably okay with pulling things, right? And
Oh
replacing.
yeah. I look
Yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you.
I might mention that the house itself was built in 1942, and Alana and Daniel bought it in 2020, and the garden was started in 2021. Is that right?
That's correct. So we actually got it. We got the keys the day before Thanksgiving in 2019, but didn't move in until January 2020, and then started this project like February 2021.
Did you do the brickwork on the path yourself?
No, that was done by the previous homeowners.
Oh, cool.
So we worked with what we had.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's quite innovative to have that little white strip on either side of the brick, as you said, to sort of accent it. And that's really different, I think.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
What do you use for the edging?
So this is black, I think it's black 4-inch metal edging that we got from the Lowe's in South Bay. And we measured it all out. I can't remember exactly how many we needed, but it comes with about, I think it's an 8-inch stake that you can just hammer in, and it stays in place really well. It was pretty cost effective considering some of the other options that are out there, and it's easily bendable. So you can, we had to curve around the walkway and create various interfaces. So this was really easy to install ourselves.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being here, Alana. That was terrific. And
Sure thing. Happy to be here.
obviously
Stunning garden,
a
stunning.
very worthy garden winner.
Thank you.
It's exciting to see the transition.
Oh yeah. It'll keep changing over the next few years. So
Maybe you can win again.
Yes.
We'll invite you back.
Yes.
I hope you have at some point time to come and visit with us in the garden club.
I hope so, for sure.
Remember, I hope you and Daniel and the baby can come at December 29th. We're having a picnic at the Arlington Clubhouse between Christmas and New Year. Maybe people aren't so busy, and so we're gonna have an in-person picnic.
Awesome. We might be out of town, but if we aren't, we'll try to make it.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, I think that was the last picture with your sign and everything.
Awesome.
Yes. Yes. So thank you so much, Alana. That was just awesome that you could come.
You're
And
welcome.
if no more questions, Louise, do you want to go on to Eureka?
Yes, I would like to remind people to mute while we're doing the presentation. There's a lot of coughing going on. Yes, let's go to Eureka. The Eureka garden looked like this when Julie Kuhn and Carol Olondo bought the property. It's 7836 Eureka, as you see. And they had planned to come today, but they had a family emergency and they are traveling. The house was built in 1948 and remodeled at the time of the purchase in 2013. The garden was mainly grass and some ugly junipers. This unique garden was designed by Julie, and she and Carol did all of the planting, the installation of the drip irrigation system, and low voltage lighting that illuminates the garden in the evening. In this picture, you can see this vat that is rosemary, and there's several of them, and they make kind of a sculptural accent. She mentioned that they had help with doing the flagstones and some of the rocks, but all the rest of it they did themselves. Martha, maybe you can help me with what that plant is. The garden itself is a sanctuary for birds, butterflies, and carpenter bees.
I think that might be society garlic, but I'm not sure, actually.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is looking up towards the house, and the judges mentioned that it was a river of rocks accented with dramatic plants. And looking from the driveway, you can see this lovely flagstone piece here that they etched their house number, a very unique aspect. They also have a lot of plants that are violet in color that go nicely with the color of the house that obviously they repainted.
Louise, I'll just mention also that here again are kangaroo paws that
Oh,
as
yes.
we saw in
Thank you.
Alana's garden. They're such a dramatic accent.
Their use of different color rocks give the whole garden a really interesting aspect. One of the judges said that it was a desert garden with an Asian accent.
This is that little white river of rocks coming from this bridge, which sadly I don't have a close-up picture of the bridge up by the house. Here it is.
It's a closer view of that lovely piece of flagstone. And just the use of single accented rocks, like sculptural elements, made this a really dramatic garden. And this object back here is a beautiful flowing fountain that attracts a lot of birds. Looking down from the house. The neighborhood, here we have a close-up of the fountain, which is recycled water and kind of has a steady flow, so it has a lovely sound as well as being an attraction for birds. A highlight really of the garden. The front yard, there are no sidewalks in this neighborhood. So Julie and Carol decided to use these large flagstones for places for neighbors to stand so they could enjoy the garden and visit. They're very social, and we were happy to meet them when we were out judging.
I especially liked how the rock walls, a lot of the rocks had lichen. I mean, it was just very alive looking, covered with lichen. And
this garden is also on a slope. As you can see when at our presentation, it's more obvious that this is a slope, and they made really good use of the slope by breaking it up with these rock walls. Most of the garden is drought tolerant, and this is Julie, and Carol's not in the picture.
here she is.
There she is. So Julie and Carol. They also have, there's a bonsai towards close by to the front of the house, a bonsai tree. There are these lovely planters. It has a really serene look, making use of grasses as well as succulents. There's a better view of these flagstones that allow the neighbors to have a spot to stand and enjoy the garden. I believe there was also a seating area, but I haven't seen it in the slides.
I don't remember that. I think they had chairs on their porch. Anyway, here's our, they sent me these photos, so I think they took them, much later. So it hasn't changed too much. Most of these things I think are slow growing, so wouldn't maybe require too much maintenance. But this is the last slide. Right. Bonnie Drive.
Now, we're heading to 520 Bonnie Drive, which is the family home of Gracie and Steve Connell. And she's here and will be telling us more about that. The judges were all impressed with the harmony of this garden with the house. That was described as a lush, mature garden with a blend of earthy colors that complement the tone and hue of the house. A nice stone staircase with a pop of yellows, oranges, and greens from the plants surrounding it. A terraced garden with plants covering the entire slope. An interesting variety of textures, an attractive retaining wall. The grasses were amazing. And the use of repeated plants were visual harmony. There is also a beautiful sculptural hand railing that adds to the interest of the house. And I will turn it over to Gracie Connell. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This garden's about, I'd say 4 years now. And it was previous to that, it was I think the typical East Bay yard, either having a lot of juniper or a lot of ivy. And so we had some foundation work done, which gave us the opportunity to redo the front. And we had a brick retaining wall, and we went with the wood retaining wall, and the engineer recommended that because of how Havenside is, the type of area and the type of earth. And the banister was completely done by my husband. And it continues to the right side of the driveway. And we are just very, very happy with what it looks like. And I think it does go very well with the design of the house and the colors.
Gracie, will you tell us about the history of your house?
Okay, let's see. It was built in 1950. My parents built the house. My grandparents lived about 4 or 5 blocks away, closer to St. Jerome's. So really, this is the house that I grew up in. So it's very nice.
Do you like to tell us about some of the plants you've used?
You know, I would, but my whole list of plants and everything is down in the Bay Area, and I cannot remember all the names. There definitely was a Japanese maple tree that my husband had selected a long time ago and said, this has to go in the front. We have a fish pond in the back that my dad built. It's probably, I don't know, 10 feet by 6 feet. And and we have a Japanese tea house in the backyard. And so the Japanese maple just had to be there.
You mean this one by the house right here, Gracie, in the front?
No, the one over,
driveway?
it's, wait a minute, let's see.
Or do you mean this one up at the top?
This one over here. Yeah, on the uphill side.
On the
Yeah.
outside?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we were just really pleased. We ended up putting in a sidewalk because basically this area of El Cerrito doesn't have sidewalks unless someone puts them in. And so anyway, yeah. So we are very grateful that you recognized the hard work that went into this. And we are very appreciative of the recognition. And we thank you so much for doing that. I was going to say, I remember going to up on the Arlington as a kid to see that amazing nativity scene. And now it's so nice to know all the history about it.
Yeah, he was an amazing guy, and I think he would really appreciate your garden.
I hope so. Yeah, yeah.
This is a lovely accent as you go up the stairs, this beautiful pot with succulents.
Right. Yeah.
And
We
this,
have one on the other side. And that all the flagstone covers the original brick. because it was brick. Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, we are just very, very pleased. And like I said, we thank you for recognizing that. And it's fun. But it does, we have a fair amount of work to do to keep it up, as my husband would say, but it's worth every minute of it.
The judges also noted how you made use of beautiful colors. It's just a really, the harmony of the garden with the house is really splendid.
It does go well. We purchased I think almost everything from Westbury. And that's just a really nice nursery.
In this picture, particularly, everything just seems to glow, you know, it's just glowing with color. It's just amazing.
It's fun. And we have some lighting that, you know, which is nice. And anyway, I just do think it really did turn out well.
One of the judges noted how the beautiful colors in the garden matched the trim on the house.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? That's why that's so fun, because you can do things like that really make it special.
And the repeated use of the New Zealand flax that kind of gives a harmony to the garden.
Right. Well, it's a lot of wonderful, I was listening to all the wonderful things that the garden club does, and it's very impressive. And I was one of the people that never knew that we had a garden club in El Cerrito. You know, I just didn't, you know, and so my mother was she loved to spend time in the yard, and I do as well. But it's, you know, it is what it is. So
we hope you'll be here December 29th to come to our in-person event.
It would be fun. I'm going to write it down, and hopefully if we are, because our kids live close. And so anyway, we just might be. And I do know where that center is in Kensington. So that's nice.
This is an additional, a bonus here. Tell us about the bonus.
Oh yeah, that was my dad's. Yeah. And now it's our son's, but he doesn't have a place to keep it. So it just kind of goes with the house, don't you think? You know?
Definitely.
Totally.
What year is it? What is it?
55.
A 55 Chevy?
Chevy.
Oh.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yes. So
Gracie, you mentioned Steve was saying how much work it was. So basically pruning mostly?
yes,
Just because
pretty much.
Everything gets so big.
It does. And we have a drip system for it in there. And but yes, it's like everything else, you know, you want it to be nice, you want to keep working on it. And so that's what we do. But it's yeah, and they are all, I think most of the plants are drought resistant, which really helps, you know. Though I'm talking to you from Tahoe, and I'm looking out at all this snow that we have.
We were worried when we sent the announcement to Gracie, and for weeks we didn't hear. And then we found out that she spends a good part of her time in Tahoe and shares her time between Tahoe and El Cerrito.
Right. Well, we really do live at Tahoe on the Nevada side, but this is a wonderful place to be. So we're here at least a week a month, just to be around our family, because our family is basically all in the Bay Area. So it's nice.
Wonderful life.
Yeah.
Gracie, did you say when the garden was planted?
About 4 years ago, we had foundation issues, like I said, so we decided we really needed to address that.
Mhm.
And then in doing so, we said, gee, this is a perfect time to redo the yard.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Eileen has her hand up.
Well, I was wondering about the color of the house because what's one of the main comments, you know, that's amazing harmony with the house. Is that the original color or did you change it?
No, we probably changed the color of the house 10 to 15 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And then this, you know, it's kind of like a stage thing. You do one thing and then you do something else. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
do something else. And,
Yeah.
you know, and so that's how it all is. And it does, to me, it really is beautiful the way it goes together like that.
Well,
I
the
think my parents are
sculptural,
happy.
yeah, the sculptural quality of the banister is amazing because otherwise it would be too many right angles.
Yeah. So, you know, no, it took him a while to do it. Took him about a month to really do it, but it really makes a difference. And even the little thing like the copper chain, instead of having a downspout
Oh, that's beautiful.
on that top corner, that's just copper cups.
Yeah.
They go like that. Anyway, so yeah. So I think it turned out really well. Everybody, I think all our neighbors are very happy. So that's always good, right? Keep your neighbors happy.
I'm sure they're grateful to have the sidewalk there so they can stop and enjoy your garden.
That's it. That's it. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Well, like I said, thank you so, so much. And I do look forward to seeing you all at some point soon. And I hope we get a lot of rain this year, a lot of snow, and a few things, you know, start to get back to normal, which would be wonderful.
Sure need it.
Right.
Exactly. So other questions for Gracie? I just can't get over the colors, the lavender in the corner and the chartreuse of those different plants, and then the reddish colors, just such an amazing combination.
It is, and they're just all really beautiful, you know, in their shape, their form. You know, all three of the houses, it was so fun to go from one to the next one to the next one. And they're all within, geez, a third of a mile. I mean, it's really close, the three houses, you know, so.
We never know what or where the houses are going to crop up and where the nominations are. Last year, our houses were in 3 completely diverse neighborhoods. And this year, they're all in one neighborhood.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we really don't know what the results are going to be until all of the houses that are nominated are judged.
Right.
And these are 3 extremely worthy award winners, and each garden is really unique. They're very different from each other in spite of the fact that they're all pretty much in the same neighborhood.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
very grateful for all 3 gardeners and the homeowners for having these beautiful spaces for us to enjoy.
Yeah. Well, I think El Cerrito is a great place to be. And so I'm sure I keep seeing other people redoing their yards, redoing their things. And it's really fun to see that, you know?
Yes.
And so anyway, once again, I say thank you so much. And I'll look forward to seeing you all.
Thank you, Gracie, for being
Thank you.
here. I appreciate it.
Of course. All righty. Bye-bye.
Yeah, nice of you to come in from Tahoe. That was great. Yeah, so I think this is the last one. Oh, this is the last one. Oh, so Louise, any further remarks?
I'd just like to remind people to keep an eye out for beautiful gardens. And if you have the opportunity and haven't been by these gardens in person, it's definitely worth the trip. And as Gracie said, they're all very close to each other. So in half an hour, you can see 3 amazing gardens. So keep your eyes out for new nominees that we'll be accepting in March. And I also wanted to thank Martha for photographing and putting together the excellent slideshow. I really appreciate it. I don't have that skill, and hope that everyone enjoyed seeing our beautiful Sundar Shadi winners.
Thank you, Louise. And I want to comment also that Bernadette took videos at every location, but I'm sorry, my computer is just not able to show those videos. But there's a short video of each location of Louise chatting with the homeowners. They're very cute. And the one I especially wanted to show today was the one of Carol and Julie, the Eureka House, of Louise announcing to those of us who were on the sidewalk that Carol and Julie decided to not keep the award money that they were being given. They donated it back to the club to be given to the El Cerrito High School garden project. So that was just such a nice, generous offer on their part. And so such a clubby thing to do. And I'm hoping they're going to stay members. So
if I add one more thing, we have a suite of judges, and if anybody in the future would like to join our judges, and it is really fun to go around and see all of the gardens. This year it was pretty easy because we only had 15 gardens. The year before we had 40. So we never know how many are going to be nominated and what we're going to see, but it's a pleasure to go around our community and see these wonderful front yard gardens.
Yes, and of course we didn't mind having 40 because it's it's wonderful to have so many choices. Pam, I think, has her hand up.
Yes, I want to say that when I made the Shadi presentation to the El Cerrito City Council, that they were very appreciative of gardens that took out the lawns and planted drought tolerant plants. So they seem to really enjoy seeing the gardens.
I'm sorry, I neglected to say that. That's on my notes, that I was grateful for Pam doing the presentation at the city council meeting for us. And it's nice to have other people who are willing to step up and do their part. So thank you very much, Pam, for doing that.
Oh, you're welcome. It was actually fun.
In our last newsletter, there's a link to Pam's presentation. It's quite short, but she shows a photo of each garden and tells a nice little bit about it. And then the council members all had comments, as she said, very nice comments and very complimentary, both of the gardens and of the club. So it was a nice promo. Good. Well, thank you so much, Louise. The Sundar Shadi is one of the few projects that even during the pandemic, the club has really been able to not only continue, but kind of even thrive. I mean, make even more wonderful. So we've really had fun with that. And as Louise said, join us next year and nominate gardens, please. As you're out walking, you're going to the library, you're going somewhere and you spot something, make a note of the address. Has to be in El Cerrito, but that's good.
And if you see something, and you don't have to wait till March, you can always email me the information and I'll record it and keep it for when we actually start judging. So sometimes we see things and then we forget. So if you see something now that you want to nominate, go ahead.
That's right. Well, and it would be interesting if it looks different in different times of the year.
Right. I think actually all three of the gardens that we have this year all make it from one season to another and are still as spectacular as the season before. So that was one really great thing about all three gardens.
That's good. Yes. Thanks, Louise. Eileen, your hand is up. And you're muted.
Thanking Louise for her organization of this, organizing 40 to get down to a reasonable number, that was amazing last year. This year, I mean, it's great. Thank you, Louise. It's
My
wonderful.
pleasure. I love this project and I'm really happy to be the chairperson.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Also, just wonderful that Alana and Gracie were able to join us today, because sometimes, you know, we don't have the winners present, and it's wonderful to have heard from them in person, as it were. So that was really great. So we're wrapping up. Any further announcements or comments people would like to make? I will just say, don't forget that if you want things to be told to the rest of the club, the newsletter is the great way to do that. And if you send things to Robin, and you can start sending them at any time, you don't have to wait till the end of the month, but she must have them by the 4th week of each month. I mean, obviously, because the newsletter wants to go out on the 1st or near the 1st. So if you think of something, it doesn't have to be an announcement. It could be a comment. It could be a picture of something, whatever you want to share with everybody. The newsletter is a nice venue for that. So please think about that. Bonnie, your hand is up.
Yes, I just wanted to say you and Louise did a perfect job of that presentation there. That was awesome. Very fun, very fun. It's always nice to see those things. You guys did a terrific job. I am so pleased. I'm sorry I couldn't be there, but geez, I was not missed. You did.
Thank you, Bonnie.
You did an excellent job, you guys.
Well, you were missed, but you didn't miss very much because we took a lot of pictures. But thank you, Bonnie. That's so sweet. I think those sidewalk presentations are one of the best new things that we're doing. Really fun. Really great.
Yes.
So
Yes.
thank you for that, Bonnie.
Yes, you guys did an excellent job.
Yeah.
For your choices too.
Oh.
The gardens were like awesome, perfect. Just fit all the criteria. And the fact that we have a criteria is very impressive. So I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks. Thank you very much. Good. Other things people want to let us know or share or comment or ask a question or no?
One more thing. I just wanted to say hello to all of our new people. And I can't wait to see you in person. And thank you very much for joining the El Cerrito Garden Club.
Thank you. Yes, Bonnie, I agree. And new people that we see today are Kaki and Anita are both here, and that's very nice. So there she is. So wonderful to see you all. Gloria, I'm glad you could make it. Thinking of you, and just nice to see everybody. So I think that's it for what we have to do in our meeting, and thank you all so much for coming. Don't forget the board meeting is next week. If you don't usually get an invitation to it but want to come, it's the exact same Zoom link you used today, and everyone is welcome. You can let the board know what you have in mind or what you're thinking about, and that's it. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Louise. Thank you. See you soon, everybody.